Let's build a flower today.
You can download all these models by going to through 3d.me, and then you can see all the latest models in the home page, or you can go to download and then select based on the category: simple, intermediate, and then advanced. So if you click on any of these, you can download blender file or fvx file, or even you can see how did we make it on YouTube.
Go to add mesh, plane, scale, S for scale, and then move your mouse to scale it down. And now S to scale, Y to along Y axis. Scroll your mouse, and in the middle mouse, press and hold, rotate. Tab on your keyboard to get into the edit mode. Now click on this loop cut tool, click, and then come to the loop cut menu, and then increase the number of loop cuts to be somewhere around here. And also the other way, move your mouse along this edge so that you will have a loop cut perpendicular to that edge, and then increase the number to be 3. Click on the selection tool. Now press 7 on your keyboard to top view. Select the set of vertices. Make sure that you select the vertices here. If you select edges, you select edges, but if you click on the vertices, and then you select vertices only, and then you need to make sure that you have selected this selection box. And then S to scale it down. Over here, S to scale it down. Grab along Y axis, and then enable this proportional editing. Click on that one, or press O from your keyboard to toggle that. Select the middle vertex, grab along Y axis, press Y after that, and then scroll your mouse, middle mouse, to reduce the radius of the effective area, and then move up. Select this vertex, or better to select all of them. Press S. Make sure that you have proportional editing selected, and then move your mouse, and then adjust your radius accordingly. I'm happy with this one. Now select this vertex, press G and then Z while adjusting your radius of the proportional editing. I am happy with that. And then select this vertex, grab along Z axis. Yeah, one petal is done. Tab out, and now click on this. Seems like it's very low poly, and then what you have to do is Control 1 to add subdivision surface modifier of level 1. So if you select this one and then go back to this wrench or the spanner, you can see I have added one subdivision surface modifier. So the level is 1 in the viewport, rendering is 2. You can make it 1 for the rendering as well. Now still you see some low poly clues. So what you do is you select this object, go to object, shade smooth. Now you pretty much have a smooth petal. Now this is very thin petal. I want to have a like little thick petal for this flower. Select this object, and then while you keep the modifier, the subdivision surface modifier, you add another modifier called under the generate you have a solidify modifier. Now you add some little bit of a thickness to this petal. It is not that enough, so I come over here to the solidify modifier and then increase the thickness maybe 1 point more. And now you see some smoothing problems here. We can simply fix that. Click on that and then come over here to the object properties, object data properties, and then find the subsection called normals and then put it in auto smooth. Now you have a smooth petal. Seems like the level 1 subdivision surface modifier is not good enough, so let's go back to subdivision modifier, open that up and then increase this one to 2. Now it is much better, but remember that when you add more geometries you will add it into the rendering time, but make sure that you have absolutely minimum number of faces or edges, vertices, etc. All right, now my object one petal is done. So you see this yellow dot, right? That is the pivot point. I need to get this pivot point over here. So what I do here, I go back to edit mode and then press A to select everything, G to grab. I need to disable proportional editing. G to grab along y-axis, and then I'm getting very close to here. Now my pivot point is there. I go back. Now this is very important. Let's select this petal and then Control A and then select scale. I need to reset the scale. Now I need to rotate this one and then duplicate this one and then rotate 90 degrees at every duplication, but I'm doing this one manually. I can use the array modifier, but I'm not going to do that one right now. I just want to keep this one very simple. So I select this, Shift D and then R to rotate along Z axis, Z and then 90, hit enter. So you rotate that one 90 degrees. Same thing, Shift D, now R for rotate along around Z axis 90. Same thing for this, Shift D, R, Z and 90. Alright, now if you come over here, the transformation orientation, it is global. I just want to edit all these petals at once. If I select all of them now and then try to rotate along maybe around y-axis, you see what happens, right? Right click to reset that operation. Instead I just want to go ahead and click on this, set that the transformation orientation to local. What does that mean? If you select one object and then come over here, viewport gizmos, and if you say put a tick on move, you can see if you click on this object, your y-axis is going along this line. For this petal, y-axis is along this line, and so on. But the global x-axis is along this line, and then the y is along this line. But now I'm inside the local transformation orientation. What I do here is RX. Look at that. You can edit that one at once. Now Shift D, right click to set it in the same location, RZ. Let me change this one back to global, RZ. Now I'm changing this transformation orientation to local again, rotate X. then move, grab Y. Same thing for this one, grab Y. That should do it. And then I just want to reduce the space between these petals. Go back to global, grab Z. Sounds good. Now this is my world origin. My shift right click my 3D cursor and then shift S cursor to world origin. Now your cursor comes to the origin. Now I can add an object sphere at that location. I just don't want this many topologies. I just make it 16 and the rings 8. I reduce the topologies and then press S to scale it down. Grab along Z axis. There you go, you have a flower. Click on that object, shade smooth. Grab Z slightly down. Alright, you made one flower. Let's assign some colors to this one. Let's select one petal, go to shading, click on new. Now get some space here. Now what I want to do here is I want to create a kind of like gradient with two different colors. What I do here is I just select this color as maybe very light yellow and then duplicate this one, select the principal BSD, shift D, and now I want to combine these two. Before that I just want to change this color to dark yellow, and I want to combine these two nodes and then make single output out of these two and then fade it into this output. What I add here is go to add search, types mix and then select mix shader, put it here, and then one shader is this one, put the other one, let's put it here, and then get the output of PSD, principal BSD of the other PSD, and then put it here. Now you have two colors but they are mixing together. I just want to have like a gradient, one color over here, the other one also here. So let's collapse this. Now let's add a texture coordinate and then add separate R X Y Z, and now get the generated output and then put it into the input of the separate XYZ. Now let's get another node. This time I'm getting a color ramp. Put the X, so if you come over here and then enable the local axis, so the y-axis is going along the petal, right? So that is where we want to put our gradient. So get y and then put it here into the packed input. Get this output of color ramp and then put that one into the fact of mix shader. Now you have a gradient here. Now you can adjust how it is behaving, something like this. You can see the change here. So when you change this, you can change the gradient. Let's keep it somewhere here. All right, now let's go back to layout and then you don't see the color because you are in the material, not the material, solid viewport shading. Let's switch to viewport, the material viewport shading. Now you can see the color. Now select all these petals, save, click on the other ones as well, and then at last select the one you have assigned colors, and then now Control L, material. Now you assign color to that metal, all the petals. Select the middle one, come here to the material properties, click on new, select a color. This time I'm selecting a dark orange, maybe. Let's make it slightly bright. Okay, now these colors are not as you expected, so you go to rendering, and then at the very end there's a section called color management. On the view transform, click on this drop down, select standard. Now you see bright colors. Still I don't like this color, and then make it, you know, some kind of like, yeah, not bad. All right, if you want to give some, you know, slight variation to these petals, let's select one of them, go to edit mode, and then go back to vertex mode, select one vertex from here, enable proportional editing, grab, and tab out. Now I just want to color the lower part of this ball, you know, green. Select that, press / in your keyboard so that you get into the individual mode, so you see only that ball. Press 3 from your keyboard to get into the side mode, tab into edit mode, enable X-ray mode, and make sure that you have this arrow selected, and select the lower part. Now come to the material section, and then click on new, assign, click on new, select maybe like green, dark green, disable, switch off the X-ray mode, tab out, press / to get into regular user perspective. Now you have a flower. Save this one. Now if you want to duplicate this all, select all of them, select all of them, and then Shift D, right click to set in the same place, grab Z, grab maybe Y, okay, Shift D, right click, grab, Shift Z to move along X and Y, but ignore Z movement. All right, let's looking from top, select all of them, and then grab maybe somewhere here, and then rotate around Y. Okay, now let's add a cylinder very quick, and then reduce this one to 16, and that's it. Scale, Shift Z, so you are scaling along Y and X but keep the Z. Now / to get into individual mode, local editing mode, and then get into edit, get some loop cuts, and then select lines, maybe this one, proportional editing, grab, tab out editing, tab out slash out the local editing. Now let's get back to the edit mode and then individual mode. Now this pivot point is here. I want to get the pivot point to this, the very end of this stem. So select A, press A to select all, grab along Z axis. Now the pivot point is here, tab out slash to go back to edit mode. Now if you go back to local and then click on this, rotate along x-axis, you can rotate easily. To make it more visible, go to top view and then enable X-ray mode and then rotate go to top mode, rotate along x-axis, rotate along x-axis. Now scale along z-axis. These are local axes, so you can see that rotate along x. Now let's go back to side view and see how it looks. It's too far away from the center. Let's scale down everything. Delete this camera for now, also the light, then select everything, scale down. Otherwise flowers are gigantic. Alright, let's grab this, grab all of them down. Side view, top view, side view. Okay, grab, enable X-ray mode, grab this one, rotate along Y, not local, global axis, rotate around Y. Sounds good. This one, let's make it slightly small than the others and rotate along x-axis a bit. All right, now let's get our stem. Now your cursor is here in the world origin, but your stem is here. Stem's pivot point is here. What I want to do is I want to move this stem down here to the cursor. So shift S, selection to cursor. Now it is at the origin. Now let's go back to top view, numpad 7, enable X-ray mode, and then select this stem, rotate along maybe Y, and now rotate along X, scale Z, scale Z 2 times to scale along its local axis, scale ZZ. Now rotate X, rotate Y slightly. Yep, now you are inside that flower. Now what you do is you duplicate this, shift D at the same location, go to top view, rotate Y. Now it is too long, scale ZZ. Now slightly off, rotate Y, Okay, seems okay to me. Select one stem and get back here, select a color for that, maybe a little darker this time, and then boom, select the other two. Finally shift select the last one, Control L, material. Okay, let's create a leaf, add mesh plane, slash to get into individual mode, scale Y, tab into edit mode, loop cuts, it's enough. This along this path too, that's enough. Now click on this, go to vertex mode, click on this, and then enable proportional editing, grab along y-axis, and that should do it. This one, grab along x-axis. Let's do this. Select everything, the select that set of vertices, x, s for scaling. That should do it. Now select this edge, grab z. All right, let's get this point little up, grab z. All right, let's tab out. Let's add control 2 levels of subdivision surface modifier. Go to object, shade smooth, go to modifier, add another modifier, solidify modifier, increase the thickness slightly, and then select this, go back to object, data properties, normals, smooth normals, auto smooth. Okay, let's go back to edit mode, select this vertex, grab slightly. Okay, tab out. Now slash to get back to all editing. Oh, one thing, we need to get back to this and then select everything. I just want to adjust the pivot point to be here. Okay, all right, tab out, slash to get into all mode, and then now scale it down. Now go to local mode. Now rotate this one along x-axis, shift D, right click, rotate along z-axis. Let's go to global, rotate along z-axis, shift D, right click, rotate along z. Okay, let's scale this one. Let's go back to scale y. If you press y 2 times, you are scaling or doing that operation along its local axis. So the global y is along this line because I'm selecting global here. Global is along this line, but if you say scale y, it is scaling along the other. Now it's local y. This one, rotate. This one, rotate y, rotate x to give it a kind of like a slight variation. Rotates x, and then this one, rotate x. Okay, now let's assign some colors to this one. Material, new material, color dark green. Select this the other leaf, this leaf. Let's give it some slight different variation of green. That will make it much more appealing. All right, let's see how our lighting is. So now we have a HDR assigned to this scene. I want to assign HDR to my rendering as well. Let's go to world, properties, and then next to the color you have a small circle. Click on that, select environment texture, open up the environment texture, and then go to HDR where you have saved your HDR images, and then select some outside image. Now enable the scene world from this menu. Alright, you see the surrounding as well. That is the HDR image that you loaded. I just want to get rid of that. Go to render properties, scroll down until you find film section, go to put a tick in front of transparent. Now you get the lighting from that HDR image, but you don't see that HDR image. Alright, that's all. Let's see through our camera. Because we don't have a camera, we need to add a camera. Go to top view and then add a camera somewhere around here. Shift right click to place your 3D cursor. Let's get back to side view. Okay, let's make it slightly up. Now you can insert your camera over here, add camera. Now camera is looking at the other direction. You need to turn the camera, rotate the camera along z-axis. That one should do it. Now you need to move your camera slightly backward, grab Y. Now look, now let's see our flowers through the camera. You click on this camera icon, but it is slightly off. What you do is you press N, open up this side menu, go to view, find view lock, put a tick in front of camera to view, or lock the camera to view, anything. So it's depending on the version. Now if you move your scene, you are not moving your camera, but you are moving your object against the camera so that you can orient. All right, now remember to remove the tick, otherwise you keep on moving against the camera. Now when you move it, you move along with the camera. If you go back to the camera view again, you are not changing that position. Let's render this render image. Yep, that's what we built. Actually the main goal of this tutorial is to go over the modeling part, so I'm not too much worried about assigning colors. So that's why I select quick colors from the color the material property window. But at a later stage, once we get familiar with all these modeling techniques, let's dive deeper into assigning realistic materials. For now, do not mix the material assignments and the modeling together, so that way you will feel like the blender is hard. But let's get familiar with modeling first, and then let's worry about the materials and then texture mapping at a later stage when we are very confident on things that we are doing. All right, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Hope this helps you understand some modeling techniques, or get rid of some frustrations. So we will meet with another video, something like this, and then until then, thanks for watching.